Hi BookTube, I'm Jackie from Jackie's Literary Corner, and the other day I saw Kaylee from I cannot say her channel name, Luminous Libro. She just did the Overwhelmed book tag, and I have been looking for a tag lately to do, and this one sounded good. Now, it doesn't 100% completely apply to me at the moment, but it has applied to me in the past. Which the last part where you tag people, I'm gonna have trouble with finding people to tag, so I might not tag anybody. Um, but so you guys know the drill. There are prompts / questions, and the answers might be are book related. Okay. So question number 1, are you feeling overwhelmed? And if so, why are you feeling overwhelmed? And I'm feeling sometimes overwhelmed. Worrying about wanting to prioritize my reading, but then, personal life, things happen in my personal life, and then there's work, and because I work at a grocery store, holidays, and when the holidays come around, I'm sometimes going to be working a lot more than usual. So it is, so sometimes I do feel overwhelmed. And then, as much as I try, as I've said multiple times recently, I've been trying not to worry about how many books I'm reading within a month, because it's about the quality of your reading, not the quantity of your reading. But then I end up worrying when I haven't finished a book lately, and or I worry that I won't have anything to talk about, a wrap up. I mean, I could probably talk about which books I'm in progress with, and and you guys probably would tell me that it doesn't matter. You just enjoy seeing my videos. But, I worry about those things. I'm trying not to, because, I don't want to become one of those people who just reads a bunch of books just for the sake of being like, oh, I have to have something to talk about. So even books that I don't like, I'm going to read, which it hasn't gotten to that point. I feel like every book I choose to read, I want to read it. Now, there's some books where it might be a book that I didn't want to read at first, or it's a book that, I feel like it could be, I'm unsure about it, or, it's a book that that I feel like I should at least give it a try, because it's considered a classic and all that. So that's kind of where I get overwhelmed, when I do get overwhelmed. And then I also worry about, I know this probably is hard, doesn't make any sense, as I'm 34 years old, I'm an adult. But I do live at home, and I kind of, and I still, am my parents' child, so they're still, they still worry about me, and have, and my, mom worries about my spending habits, and she's, I want to show her that I'm not just buying more books than I'm reading. So I get overwhelmed about that, because I'm like, I want to show my mom that I'm reading the books I'm buying, but I don't want to, I don't want to rush them, and I want to be able to read the bigger books, the 500 plus page books, and not think about, oh, this is going to take me so long to read, so I better read it. I mean, so maybe I should put this book down, and, demonstrate to, that I'm reading these I'm reading more, more books, the more the books I'm buying, checking them off. Which is just kind of, which I feel self-conscious about admitting that anxiety, because, I feel like people might not get that at 34 years old, I still worry about trying to, assure my my mom that I'm you know I'm using the stuff that I may purchased. So I hope you guys don't judge me for that or are like, you're an adult. You shouldn't worry about what your parents think. I mean, although I think as adults we still worry about what our parents think to an extent, but I imagine it's more so like, I mean, well, like I think people it's not as noticeable because most people at my age are not living at home, and for me, my situation, it makes it easier for me in my situation to live at home still. So they kind of, like I hope this makes sense and I'm not sounding silly or anything. But anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go to question number 2. Question number 2: tell us about the TBR that is lurking over your shoulder. And as I mentioned, just as I just mentioned, there are a lot of times I will pass over the bigger books because I'm trying to show that I'm reading. I'm reading my books that I purchased. I'm like, they're not just sitting there. So a lot of the books that are lurking on my TBR that I haven't got to, a lot of times they are the bigger books that will take me more time to read. There are like books like I bought a lot of epic poetry type books like or Dante's Inferno, or in other words, the Divine Comedy, or it's actually the Portable Dante. So it doesn't just have the Divine Comedy in it; it has this other epic poem he wrote for his muse, his secret lover. And I also have like Paradise Lost by John Milton that I still haven't continued with. I mean, it was like, I guess it was such a triumph when I finally finished reading The Count of Monte Cristo. Which what helped me with that one was listening to an audiobook. Like I ended up buying a older copy that was a little, that was cheaper. That was like the cheapest copy. And so it was like, yes, I finally did it. And and I enjoyed the book. I loved it. And I feel like a lot of these bigger books have a lot to offer. Now, yeah, size doesn't always matter. Sometimes a big book doesn't always have a lot to offer, and sometimes a big book is not always, the book for me. Like, I attempted Duck's Newburyport a couple years ago, and I ended up not connecting with it. And maybe it was partly because I'm not a mom, so the thoughts that this woman was thinking in that were just, I didn't get them. I didn't, they weren't going through, or maybe I still wasn't ready for that stream of consciousness writing style, because I am getting more into it. Like, I think that's what the Museum of Abandoned Secrets, I think that is considered is the stream of consciousness style, and I'm definitely following that one a little bit more. Although I haven't picked it up again, which again, another one that's waiting in the wings for me to pick up and read. And then there's a lot of like when I realized that Books A Million had the editions of the Live Ship Trainers that I actually wanted, all of Robin Hood's books that I wanted, they're starting to sell those editions. I immediately bought Ship of Magic, which at the time, because I hadn't picked it up and I wasn't motivated to read that Robin Hobb's books, I had put them, I had decided, okay, maybe I'm done with Robin Hobb, and I decided to get rid of my copies, which were mass markets. And then I saw those and was like, you know what? I'm gonna try them again. So they're also waiting in the wings. So I basically have a lot of books lurking in the shadows, not just the 500 plus page books, but other books that, well, mostly 500 plus page books, because a lot of fantasy books are that way too. So yeah, I have a lot of books lurking, saying, read me. Okay, question number 3. How is video making slash bookternet posting shaping your reading experience? And every time I see this kind of question, I always say the same thing. I always feel like that when I feel like BookTube, being part of the BookTube community and watching BookTube videos has definitely made me more aware of different types of books out there and wanting to experiment and try different types. I mean, there are still stuff that I probably won't read. Like hard sci-fi. I don't know if I can ever do that because the science elements can be a little bit daunting and confusing. Um, and I'm moving away from other genres like romance. I mean, I still like it. I will still read it on occasion, but I don't know. I just have no interest in. I want more going on than just the drama of two people trying to get together. Like, even though yes, romance books will have other stuff going on as well. Drama with their families and like I'll watch rom-coms. I love rom-coms, even if they're sometimes ridiculous and built on lies. But I would rather watch a romance than read a romance, in all honesty. But the other thing is, not only am I more self-aware, but it's kind of nice to know that there are other people who read the same kinds of books I read, that they're out there. I mean, I haven't like made any BookTube friends that I've met in person. There's a possibility of meeting them in person. But there are booktubers on here that I would love to meet in person one day, but I don't know if that will happen. And I'm definitely like commenting more on videos, and I think that would help me more form a relationship with some of the booktubers I watch, hopefully, or even one of you guys if you're not a booktuber but you watch my channel, maybe. And then, of course, there's always, stuff that I wasn't, not just the types of books out there, but also there's stuff I'm not aware of, like the drama in the booktube community, not the drama between booktubers, but the drama out in the bookish world, that I'm definitely aware more of that, which can be both a good and a bad thing. But it's nice to know that there are a lot of people that read out there that want to really talk about books and deep dive into books. Because I mean, when I'm not in the booktube community and out in the real world, there's a lot of people being like, "Oh wow, someone your age reads. That's so great." Or there are people that don't get the fact that when I'm reading a book, I don't want to be bothered. Even if you are interested in what I'm reading and want to know what it's about, you gotta ask me later when I'm not reading, which I get it at work. You might not at work when I'm reading during my 15-minute break. People might not get another chance to ask me. But yeah, it's although if I beg for them, then maybe, and it's a slow day, we might be able to have a conversation about what I'm reading. But yeah, I don't want to be asked what I'm reading while I'm reading. I mean, I will still be polite, of course, and let you know, but that I will, sometimes I'm not good at hiding the fact that I'm annoyed that you're asking me. So a lot of times I will just hold the book to you up to your face so you can see the cover and be like, that's what I'm reading. Okay, now let me read. So knowing the book community makes me feel like there's probably others out there who feel the way I feel about it. So not just that there is a community out there who reads, but that the community that probably understands my reading quibbles that I have. And it also helps me, with reviews and stuff like that. Being better at writing reviews. I mean, I still don't know how great I am at it, but there are people that follow my reviews, at least on Goodreads and on here, so that's helpful. But so it's definitely, and I'm definitely trying to pay more attention to what I'm reading and trying to understand. And then there's a lot of times I'm reading something that I would feel like that would feel overwhelming to read, or I don't necessarily comprehend that there are people willing to explain, talk to me about what I'm reading. And I don't just have to bother my dad all the time, because he's the one that I would usually talk to about stuff like that. So it's nice to have other options of people to talk to. And yeah, and again, like, back to the whole reviewing thing and getting better at reviewing. Also, I'm thinking about what I want to say and then practicing to sorting out my thoughts, because I'm going to make a video about the book. Now, of course, there are some books I just would struggle reviewing individually, so I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that yet. Okay, so question number 4. What do you think you can do differently so you aren't overwhelmed? The only thing I feel like I could do is just try not to think about it and just relax when I'm reading, and read what I want to read, even if it's a long book and that it might take me a long time. Or maybe, at least to make myself feel better, at least read a bunch of books that won't take me as long, like a few of those books, and then maybe read a bigger book and not to think about it. And I keep wondering if maybe I should stop making a document of writing down what I'm reading, and just, or at least not in the sense of, going by each month, like, because last year I was doing that quarterly wrap-up thing, but the only reason why I went back to reading monthly wrap-up is because I kept forgetting to do my wrap-up. And so I was like, okay, I will remember better if I do monthly wrap-ups again. And I mean, and I'm not like pulling out my hair or anything or getting like super upset about it. It's more just feeling a little stressed. So I just gotta, try not to worry about it so much. Like I said, the one thing I think would be good is just to read like a few short books, or books that I feel confident that won't take me as long, and then read a long book in between. Although, I don't know if that will solve my problem about choosing which long book to read, because there are a lot of long books that I want to read, and ones that I want to reread. And even if, I've had like people like my friend Larissa suggest, well, bring 2, but then I can't decide which 2, and I keep thinking about the other ones. So I don't know exactly what I can do to figure out all of my book-related problems that make me feel overwhelmed, but I'm still working on it. Maybe you guys can help me with the indecisiveness if you have suggestions. But okay, so yeah, I don't know what I could do differently. I mean, I would still need to think about that one. Okay, number 5. Do you have any projects you really want to do, but something is holding you back? Well, I've always wanted to do a author. What is that? The author, where someone talks about a specific author and talks about their books and everything. Author spotlight. I have always wanted to do that with someone like Kate Morton. I don't know if anyone ever has done that as Stephen King, because I have, probably, because he's one of the more popular authors. Despite some people's criticism, a lot of people's criticism of Stephen King, and not everybody loving Stephen King. I'm sure there's at least someone who's done an author spotlight on him. But I would love to do an author spotlight on someone like Kate Morton. But I keep, like, when I read her books, there's so much time in between reading her books that I don't remember everything to be able to actually talk about her in depth and which ones I would recommend to reading first and everything. But I always wanted to do that. So really the only thing holding me back is, feeling like I don't necessarily remember everything about the books to, I guess next time I do reread, actually maybe take notes or something, or annotate her books. I don't know. And then, of course, I want to get back into my Stephen King project, but that's one I've already started, so it's not something that's not necessarily holding me back from doing it. it's more like holding me back. Like I just haven't, like I'm making really slow progress on it to the point where I'm not. It's not like I'm reading a bunch of Stephen King books one right after the other. So I don't like always have, when I do update that project, I don't always have a lot to say. Um, but yeah, I want to keep going with that, and I want to get better with that, and really making sure that I can really talk about it more. I have a lot more to say. So the only one that I haven't started that I've been wanting to do, but I haven't done yet, is an author spotlight Kate Morton. Um. Okay, is there a book or genre that brings you joy or takes you to a satisfying place? Fantasy. It's always fantasy. I love escaping to other worlds. Although right now I haven't been reading a lot of fantasy, but when I do, it's always so much fun to escape to another world, learn about this other place, and the culture and the history, and seeing the meaning, get to know these characters and seeing their lives, their friendships, their romances, going on quests to save the world, and just talking about the lore and everything. I mean, right now I'm getting my fix with rewatching Buffy and Angel, um, and Charmed. That's kind of my fantasy kick at the moment, but I want to get back into reading fantasy regularly. I feel like I've been, every time it seems like I have been, it feels like I'm getting, which, as I said last year, it's not like I have to read fantasy, but it's my favorite genre. And it's my favorite genre to escape into. Um, and there's a lot of fantasy series I haven't finished. So yeah, the fantasy, it's always so much fun and feels so exciting. And now there's all these other types of fantasy. There's romantasy, and then there's cozy fantasy. Okay, and okay, next is, how much does FOMO play into feeling overwhelmed? And I kind of talked about it. I don't know if you would call it FOMO, but just wanting to read bigger books and be able to talk about them. Like, I always feel like I'm behind when it comes to Brandon Sanderson. And there's like all these like people that read them that they don't, that I would like to talk to. But then sometimes when I watch their videos, I don't know what to say as a comment, because I feel like, it seems like making a comment does get you noticed. Making comments regularly gets you noticed by people. But then there are times when I don't know what to say, or I can't articulate my feelings by just typing them out. And so there is a little bit of FOMO that can play into my feeling overwhelmed, but again, my overwhelming feelings are not like hair pulling and just getting like, having like an anxiety attack or anything. It's just more, occasionally needing to vent my feelings. Okay, so that is there anything you do specifically because of BookTube, bookternet, that you'd likely drop without it? And I don't know. I couldn't think of an answer for that when I was thinking about my answers for this tag. So that's the last one. And then, well, not the last one. There's also tag at least 5 friends who could use some time to chill. And I don't know who I would tag for this question, because I would be kind of hesitant, because I gotta admit, a part of me was thinking, oh, I hope I don't offend anyone, telling them, even if they joke about it and tease me about it, if they make a snarky comment about it, if they see that I tag them and they make a comment in their video, I would still kind of feel like, oh, that I don't want them to think I'm telling them to, oh, you need to chill or something, or you seem to be overwhelmed. Like, I don't know which booktubers I feel overwhelmed. Like, I've been watching a lot of so yeah, I'm not gonna tag anybody. But if you want to do this tag, or if any of you guys that, even if you don't have a channel or don't make videos, and you want to give me your answers to these questions, then feel free to do so in the comments. But that is the feeling overwhelmed tag. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel, helps my channel to grow. And if you and I hope you are enjoying your reading. And if you want to see more of my videos, then please click subscribe. I will talk to you all later. All right, bye.